That evening, sitting in the little hotel room by yourself with Ethan, I realize life shocks you are unpredictable. Already, I was anxious as my husband. Nathan had been abroad for several months in another city. I missed him, certainly, but it wasn't just about his not being around. It was his negligence, his lack of interest. That was the true problem. Though lonely evenings were eating away at my soul. How could I have realized that asking my stepson Ethan to bring me to your dad would result in a cooped, in a small hotel room with one bed? What was going to happen eluded me. Allow me to cover every minute detail from the very beginning. I promise you, the conclusion of this narrative will be fair, more fascinating than you could ever imagine. I glanced quickly in the mirror. That morning as I was leaving the house, I was tense, certainly, but I still looked fantastic, even with Nathan leaving me alone. I still felt attractive, still felt alive, but even those sensations weren't enough anymore. They didn't please. Ethan was finishing his breakfast in the kitchen when I yelled out from behind, "I know you enter college at the end of this summer, but you still have to improve your driving. Come on, take me too." Your dad, he looked up at me, the same mischievous grin. On his face he always wore. Ethan was a nice kid with a quirky, hilarious side, yet he could be such a little rascal at times. "All fine, stepmom," he said, taunting. "But on one condition, tell Dad to purchase me a nicer automobile for the summer. We'll speak about it," I replied forcefully, ushering him off inside, though I was simply thinking, let's just get this journey over with. But I had no notion. The voyage wouldn't go as planned. We'd been driving for nearly 2 hours. I was in the back seat fooling around on my phone while Ethan sang along to some odd song on the radio, tossing out ridiculous quips every now, and then that just made him chuckle. Then all of a sudden the automobile produced this dreadful sound, a hiss, and then died together. "What's happening?" I asked, trying not to seem too spooked out. "I guess the car broke down," Ethan murmured, pulling over to the side of the road. Evidently angry, so there we were trapped in the middle of nowhere. The signal on my phone was hardly there, and there wasn't anyone nearby. To help, we spent 2 hours fighting, phoning every technician we could locate, and attempting to fix the blasted thing. Finally, we had to accept the obvious. The only choice was to spend the night at the closest hotel at the motel reception. As Ethan chatted with the person at the desk, I stood behind him, annoyed as hell. If Nathan learns about this, he's going to lose it, I thought. But curiously, in that moment, I didn't feel like it mattered all that much. Deep down, I simply knew tonight was going to alter things. Before this tale gets weirder, make sure you subscribe to my channel and turn on those alerts. Trust me, you don't want to miss their remainder of this. By the end of it, I'd want to see your support in the comments, and with those likes when we went to the room and opened the door. All my expectations crashed and burned. The area was small, hardly big enough to spin around, with one bed, one nightstand, and a weak flickering overhead light that made everything appear dismal. The ceiling seemed low. The AC hardly functioned, and the one little window nearly faced the parking lot. "This is it," I mumbled, dissatisfied. Ethan stepped in behind me, chuckling. "What were you expecting? A 5-star hotel? We're simply here for one night. Relax, stepmom." His mocking tone in his speech, along with his cheeky grin, just made my aggravation greater. But at the same time, I couldn't say I fully loathed Ethan's carefree, laid-back attitude. Being around him, even though I never acknowledge it, aroused something inside me, a kind of exhilaration. "I didn't really understand this. Heat is killing me," I murmured, stroking the back of my neck. "I believe I need a shower, or I'm truly going to pass out." Certainly, Ethan responded nonchalantly, flinging himself onto the bed and resting flat on his back. "This is your domain, Sophia. Do everything you need to feel at home." I gazed at him for a second. His thin yet toned form, along with the subtle boyishness of his features, gave him a weird kind of attractiveness. But I instantly attempted to throw the concept out of my brain. He was Nathan's kid after all, my stepson. I walked into the bathroom and slammed the door behind me. For a time, I just gazed at my reflection in the mirror. My hair was plastered too, me skin from a heat. Yet I still looked nice. I still had that spark turning the shower on. I let the water run and walked under it, thinking it would wash away the tangle of emotions rising up inside me. I'm 47 years old, I thought, and Ethan's not a kid anymore. He's 22, preparing to start college, and here we are imprisoned together in this little motel room for a few days. The concept both troubled and aroused me in a manner I couldn't quite define. Nathan popped into my head. Nathan, I wanted to surprise you. I wanted to come visit you, to be with you. But now, I'm here imprisoned in this hotel room with your son, and I don't know how to feel about it. The steam from the shower filled the small bathroom, the heat calming my body. Even as my mind raced, Ethan's grin, his easygoing personality, was kindling something unexpected. Inside me, standing under the stream of water, I couldn't tell what this spark may turn into, but I felt something wash happening. Later, I decided to walk downstairs for supper and clear my thoughts a bit. I threw on a simple flowing outfit. It was ideal for the heat, but it also made me feel a bit more at ease, like I was trying to shake off this odd tightness. The hotel restaurant was modest but homey, suited for a setting. This tiny, I ordered a light lunch and a glass of wine, believing it would help me relax. The sun had fallen, and the streetlights outside the motel were twinkling, softly sitting there. I couldn't stop my thoughts. From going back to the room upstairs, I wondered what Ethan's up to right now. Someone as restless and full of energy as him surely wasn't having much fun being imprisoned up in a tight room. But nevertheless, that casual attitude of his, so effortless, so carefree, was driving me mad in a manner I couldn't quite describe. When my wine was gone, I gave my dish a final glance and made my way upstairs, taking deliberate steps. When I approached the room, everything was extremely calm. I opened the door, and the image that confronted me left me briefly breathless. Ethan had taken a shower and was resting on the bed in just a robe, utterly knocked out. His half-open robe displayed most of his slender, athletic figure. His moist hair fell over his forehead, and there was a small grin on his lips, like he was dreaming. My heart started pumping. It was the last thing I anticipated to walk into for a second. I hesitated beside the entrance, unsure of what to do inside me. There was this odd combination of feelings. I felt uncomfortable, but I couldn't take my eyes off him. Asterisk, asterisk. Sophia, asterisk, asterisk. What the heck are you doing? That's Nathan's son. I reprimanded myself mentally, but my eyes betrayed me, drawn to the section of his robe that had slid more apart. What I saw aroused something warm inside me. The limited size of the room only made matters worse. There wasn't another bed. It was either sleep close to him or spend there, remainder of the night, in a chair. And in this heat, the concept of a chair seemed inconceivable. I moved inside the room. Carefully, Ethan's steady, regular breathing filling the area. I took a long breath, attempting to focus, but the pandemonium inside me made it difficult to think. Clearly, I had to get myself together. Okay, Sophia, I mumbled to myself. It's only one night, nothing more. This doesn't imply anything I intended to surprise. Nathan, and now I'm stuck here. Be sensible. Keep it together. I took a few steps nearer the bed and stared at Ethan, the innocent smile on his face. Just made me already convoluted thoughts even more difficult. I sat down on the side of the bed, wondering how I was going to make it. Through the night, in the middle of the night, a faint sound woke me up. I barely opened my eyes, just enough to search the room. I observed Ethan shifting on the bed. He appeared half sleepy, running his hands through his hair and scratching his head softly. I found myself watching him, but I kept my eyes just slightly open, pretending to still be tired inside, though I felt everything from tranquil to anxious. Then I felt it. His eyes were on me. My heart started racing. He was observing me. I attempted to keep up the ACT maintaining, the drowsy expression on my face and staying still. But inside I was humming with activity. Slowly I proceeded to unhook the belt of his robe. It loosened. The robe dropped off his shoulders, showing more of his toned, youthful physique. The way his muscles twitched slightly, with his moves brought up. A color feeling through me. I couldn't stop myself in that instant. I recognized two things I had no control over what was occurring, and part of me didn't even want to stop it. Ethan picked out a pair of shorts from the wardrobe while doing, so he kept peering back at me as if trying to figure out whether I was awake. His glances got me even more eager. I was trying hard not to give anything away, but at the same time I allowed the moment to entirely take over me. After putting on his shorts, he didn't come back to bed. Instead, he sat on the chair in the corner of the room, and just started observing me. Being observed so carefully was both unnerving and sparked something unexplainable deep inside me. I kept my eyes shut, pretending to sleep, but how long could I truly keep up this act? Finally, I couldn't take it anymore, and sat up when my eyes met Ethan's. I made sure my voice wavered. As I said, "You're making me so thrilled, Ethan." I could feel the words hang in the air. At that moment, I realized nothing would ever be the same again. Ethan's eyes fluttered for a second. Then he took a big breath and proceeded to talk. "I don't know, Sophia," he answered, his voice low, but steady. You've been residing under the same roof for a time now, ever since my dad's been away, and the more time we spend together, the more I feel for you. You might not know it, but sometimes I can't conceal the adoration I have for you right now. This feels like some kind of dream. His remarks caught me off guard, but they also sparked something inside me. Ethan wasn't looking away. His eyes held mine with a type of honesty and intensity that had me absolutely enthralled. "I need to get up early to get the vehicle fixed," he went on. Though his voice sounded like he was trying to convince himself, but his eyes didn't waver, not even a little. "But right now, just can't take my eyes off you. Sophia, I've never felt this way before." My heart was racing in that moment. I stepped to the edge of the bed and sat down on the chair square in front of him, my eyes fixed onto his. The energy between us was so tremendous it didn't need words. We sat there in silence for a bit before I puckered my lips slightly and set my eyes on him. Asterisk, asterisk, Ethan asterisk, asterisk, I answered softly, my voice holding both curiosity and a challenge. "Are we talking about the same thing?" Ethan's stare intensified, like he wanted to live this moment through feelings. Rather than words, he didn't reply, but the expression in his eyes told it all. And that's when I understood there was no turning back for us, as it peered into his eyes a beer of boldness, and overpowering me welled up inside me the mix of doubt and excitement. In his eyes just pushed me farther. Taking a big breath, I proceeded to speak again, my voice calm but forceful. Asterisk, asterisk, Ethan, asterisk, asterisk, I murmured, grabbing his complete attention. "When I came into the room, you were asleep. Your robe was a bit open, and I couldn't take my eyes off you. It got to more than I thought. We can't run from these sentiments. We both know that." As my remarks hung in the air, I took a step forward and slowly stood up. His gaze followed my every move, his respiration increasing. I couldn't hold back the exhilaration rushing through me. My fingers moved for the ribbon on my dress, and as I carefully undid it, I could hear the shift in his respiration with every motion I made. "I guess I murmured, my voice lowering to a whisper. "We need to level things out. Asterid asterisk, Ethan asterisk, asterisk." I carefully unzipped the back of my dress. The cloth fell off my shoulders and went down to the floor. The cool air brushing over my skin just made the burning inside me flare more. The expression in his eyes told it all. Surprise, adoration, and a draw. He couldn't resist the stillness between us. Seemed like a link. Now our breaths mingling into one another without breaking eye contact. I took another step toward him now. I continue in a quiet voice. We'll see whether we're actually talking about the same. Ethan's eyes kept fixed on me, his emotions solid and full of fury. Suddenly he rose up, never taking his focus off me, and turned on the room light. The warm illumination filled the room as he stepped over and shut the door. My heart started beating. That moment it felt like the whole world had slowed down. Leaving just the two of us, when he took a stride toward me, my breathing accelerated. He looked to be attempting to read my gaze, but at the same time he was well aware of the wordless pull between us as he moved closer. His hands grabbed my waist, and the warmth of his touch seemed like an electric current rushing through me. Without uttering a word, he leaned forward, his gaze descending to my lips. I didn't object. I couldn't. Everything about this seemed natural, like it was supposed to happen when his lips finally reached mine. All the tension inside me melted away. His kiss was gentle and exploratory, yet conveyed an evident intensity. My hands involuntarily sought his shoulders, feeling their strength and warmth encircle me. The distance between us entirely dissolved when our breaths combined. That moment seemed like an eruption of all the unspoken feelings between us. Ethan's freshness and vigor met with the depth of passion I had held over the years. It was the start of something, a beginning both terrible and exciting. That night there was no disguising what we felt for one another anymore. I let myself fall back into Thebes, my body weary but my thoughts racing. My breathing was still unsteady. My foot brushed across the fabric of my garment. Lying on the floor, I felt Ethan's eyes on me, a strong and calm intensity flowing from a stare. A minute later, he stopped down and scooped up the garment, his fingertips delicately brushing over where my foot had been. Even that simple deed shot flames through me as he held the garment for a second. I could see a flash of hesitation on his face, but it was swiftly replaced by resolve. He tossed the clothing aside, and his hand slid to the edge of the bed slowly. He crawled onto the mattress, his motions meticulous, deliberate, as he moved closer. To me, the expression on his face reflected his sentiments, equal parts eagerness and magnetic desire. As I lay on the opposite side of the bed, I sensed Ethan's proximity. My heart continued to race, my breathing intensified. When I watched him bending towards me, I knew